Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Prof.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So, can you please tell us your background?
Oh, that's a long story. It's going to be very long because I was born more than 81 years ago in Alostar in 1938. To be exact, 21st of July 1938. I was born in Alostar. My father then was, I'm not too sure what he was. I was born, I do not know him. Then subsequently I knew that he operated kind of a, how shall I say, this is a kind of a momo. He's good at massaging people. Then he had a store in Karabu, which is just opposite of the Empire Theatre. That was a long time ago. And then when I was ready for school, I went to Malay school, which was very close to me, to my house. So it's just walking distance, maybe about quarter of a mile, which is what I'm not too sure in meters and kilometers. Then I studied there in Malay school for about 4 years, and when I was promoted to standard 5, my brother-in-law told me, "Do you want to be a Malay cikgu?" At that time, because there were very few English schools. Then I didn't know what to say. He said, "Let me take you to English school." Now I was a bit too old for a government school, so I went to St. Michael's School, which is a missionary school, and started studying in Special Malay 1, and I studied in the Special Malay 1C class. Then of course that time I was studying English, and we used a very simple book, look and read. You look and then you read. This is a table, this is a chair, this is a glass kind of thing. This is a table. So slowly we developed speaking English at the time. Then after first year, I got a chance to go to Special Malay 2. And this time from C, I went up to A, and went up all the way right up to Form 5. And then the school was confident that I would get a good grade, but unfortunately I didn't. I got a grade 3 or third grade. So fortunately, there was a need for temporary teacher. So I worked in the school in the afternoon, afternoon session. Then I was there for 1 year. And while I was teaching, I registered for my senior chemistry exam again. Again, I got the grade. Oh my God. One would have given up, but I said, what the heck? After all, the fee was about 50 ringgit. Excuse me. It was about 50 ringgit only for the exam at that time. So I went in again into the exam, took the exam again, and this time, fortunately, I got a second grade. And with the second grade, I also got a credit in Bahasa Melayu. Because in that school, there was normally Bahasa Melayu subject to be taken by the student because it's a missionary school. So managed to get into Teachers College, and I was at Teachers College called the Awang Language Institute, specializing in teaching of Malay as a second language. So that was the beginning of my career actually. I went there and then studied for 2 years, and at that time I don't think William Glaser has even produced his theory of reality therapy. But somehow the thinking that I had at the time was, what do I want? I asked myself. So I said, I want to be somebody successful after having gone through hell. So I want to be somebody successful. And then I asked again, I said, if you want to be a successful person, what must you do? It's almost like WDEP, in reality therapy. So I told myself, if I want to get good grade, I must study hard. And that was the beginning of my change from a poor fellow to somebody with some achievement in academic. So at the end of 2 years, God was very kind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, mashallah, granted me as one of the best students in the college. So that inspired me. I was sent to a Chinese school after graduation from college, and I was a bachelor boy. old I may be. So I went to the Chinese school and I had nothing to do in the afternoon. So I thought to myself, maybe I should go to college, to university. But at that time there was only one university, University of Malaya. And then I was in a way envious of the graduates from university coming to the Language Institute. Because University of Malaya is down the valley and Language Institute was up on the hill. And when these young people came over to Language Institute, the girls definitely would prefer to choose graduates rather
I see.
than college teachers. So there was deep inside I don't know, my system, I suppose. Less value in the sense. So that in a way influenced me to go for university education. Then I didn't do anything until about May. Then I registered for correspondence course at Stanford College. And I took a few subjects, geography, Malay language, history, and a little paper, economics. So halfway I dropped history because I don't have the historical mind kind. I cannot remember dates and names. And then I studied within 5 months, reading the notes from Stanford College, sat for the exam. After having sat for the exam, I told myself, people took 2 years to pass high school certificate. How the heck you study within 5 months want to assume that you can pass? So, well, I said to myself, I'll buy a scooter. Because I had to travel up and down. My parents were in the Lostar then. From Kuala Kura, which is near Paribunta, travel all the way. So, bought a scooter. So every week I will be coming back to visit my parents. For whatever reason, God was kind to me. He granted me a full certificate, 3 principles plus the paper. Automatically, I'm qualified to go to university. So straight away I went to university, and before I went to university, like my father earns very little, selling all this Malay medicine and traditional medicine. And I was wondering, how can I get the money to pay the university? So open my bank book, post office bank book, and I only have $60. Fortunately, university asked $50. So I took it $50 as caution money, so sent to university to ensure that my name is there. And I went back and started thinking, where can I get the money? Then I approached my mother. She had some bangles, gold bangles. I said, Mak, boleh pinjam? May I borrow your bangles? What for? And in Kedah, they say, ginjat. Ginjat meaning a tiptoe. You see, if you go to a pawn shop, the counter is high, so you go to tiptoe in order to see the person. So ginjat. Then my mother was kind of very spontaneously said, no problem, you can take it, because I want to go for education. So before I could go and took all the bangles and pawn in the pawn shop, I was invited or a call for interview by the scholarship board. And I suppose God was again kind to me. I was one of those working people who was given a scholarship, full scholarship. Then I went and studied. And I repeated what I did in Language Institute. I asked myself, what do I want? So I said, I want to get good grade. So study. I really studied like mad. I studied. Every week I will be repeating, I will be revising all the notes, and then I form a group of friends, and then I'm good at typing. So I type all the notes, I give it for everybody. Piece each. I collected all the notes at everyone, and then try to write properly for the notes. Then, first year, success. I was worried that I might fail. The second year, I think that's the best I could do in my life, I suppose. We had to take 10 courses. And during that time, the university is divided into 3, not semester, they call it 3 terms. 10 weeks, 10 weeks, 10 weeks, and after 30 weeks, you have to sit for exam. And I had to register for 10 courses.
That's a lot, huh?
Now, that's a lot from brain to work. So, nonetheless, because I do it regularly, and then we have a group that we discuss every Saturday, I managed to do very well. My lecturer called me and says, Amir, kau dapat 10A. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it that I got 10 A's, for all the courses, and which I did, alhamdulillah. So as a result, university said, okay, for your excellence performance, we give you $2,000 or
Wow.
university senior scholarship. Oh my God, you can imagine how happy I was. And then when I moved on to that year, I was worried, really worried, that I might not be able to perform as well and miss my first class honors study. Especially when I was in the third year, I was placed in a single room, alone. I have nobody to sort of sparring partner, to sort of jerk me. Because in the first year, I was with a friend, a Chinese. He worked very hard. And then the second year, I was with a medical student, also Chinese. And then he told me, Amir, before I sleep, I say good night. So he said, Amir, please don't say good night, say good morning. So I had to stay on beyond 12 o'clock at night, say good morning to me. Every night I had to do that like a ritual, But it was good because he studied so hard and I couldn't be sitting down in the room doing nothing. I also studied. And as a result, at the end of those struggles, got granted me first class honors. So there were about three first class honors during the time, 1967, one Chinese and two Malays. The other one is a Malay girl from Terengganu, Khadijah. I do not know where she is now. She married somebody from Terengganu and she's probably back somewhere in Malaysia. From then on, I was posted to Kuala Kurau, Chinese school. So I'm a very dedicated teacher. I like to teach properly, and I make the students work hard because I say hard work doesn't kill. So I work, and then halfway I started thinking, am I going to be a teacher for life? No, sorry. I was posted out to Syarie after the university. Posted out to Al-Usta initially, but the deputy CEO, Chief Education Officer of Kedah, that time was Tan Sri Rahman Arsyad. He's still alive. He says that there are two of us. One is Ismail and the other one me. He said both of you will have to go to Syarie because the school doesn't have graduate teachers. So willingly we went, and I was teaching in Syarie February. And then my girlfriend. Then we got engaged in the early part of 1967. Then in 67 we got married. So I asked myself, what the hell am I doing here alone? And I got a wife there, and she's lonely. I'm also lonely. Why don't I move over to KL and we can stay together? So which I did. So when I did, I registered for a Master of Counseling, a Master of Education, bracket counseling. And probably I was the earliest to do that. And it was a very fortunate situation because at that time, counseling is almost non-existent. People talk about guidance, not counseling. Fortunately, there was an American professor who was on study leave, 68 at the time. Study leave, and he happens to be in counseling, and I approached him and asked if he was willing to become my supervisor. That time, the master in education is by research alone, no coursework like we are doing now for counseling. So I said, no problem, and he did. So I studied under him, studied statistics and all a few things on my own, and then finished my thesis. We did one. Slightly more than a year, I finished the whole thing. Then I got I forgot to tell you, when I got a first class honors, university gave me a set of books, departmental book for excellence. And at that time, the only thought in my mind was, the highest I can go is become headmaster. So I said, I want a book on educational administration. I want to become a. And then, you know what God did to me? I was browsing through the book. When I opened the book, of all the pages that must show me was a page on guidance and counseling. And I said, oh my God, this is something new. I fell in love at that point in time. And that was 1967. Fell in love straight away. I wanted to go for counseling. And that's how it started. So when I went to counseling, finished within And at the same time, at that time, there was a colleague, Dr. Sarojini Menon, a lady. She got a scholarship to go to US to do for a PhD. So she went. She was the first lady to get PhD in counseling. And in the meantime, in 1971, 69, USM became the second university in the country. And then in USM, somehow they knew me because maybe I got first class honor, things like that. And they knew that I was a teacher. The vice chancellor, the late Tan Sri Hamzah, Professor Amir, contacted me and said, "Can we meet?" So I met him and talked to me. He says, "We want to start education in Penang. Would you come and join?" Who will not? My parents are in a lost star. I said, why should I be in KL? So I said, "Can I ask you one question?" I said, "What? If I go to USM, what are my chances of going for my PhD?" And his response was straightforward, very simple. You do something for us, we'll do something for you.